The moon's rejected mate. Once every 100 years, the crystal moon temple opened its silver gates. That night, thousands of Lycans gathered beneath a glowing moon, waiting for the ancient moon core to reveal the next sacred bond. Warriors stood beside royal nobles, while human guests remained far from the throne, treated like outsiders. Then the moon core awakened. A powerful beam of silver light crossed the temple and stopped before Aria, a young human woman. Gasps filled the hall. Aria had never expected the moon goddess to choose her. Yet when she looked toward the royal throne, her heart began to race. Alpha Kaelor was standing there. He was the strongest ruler in the Lunar Empire, feared by his enemies and admired by his people. His golden eyes locked with Aria's, and for one quiet moment, the entire temple seemed to disappear. A warm silver mark appeared on Aria's wrist. The same mark burned brightly on Kaelor's hand. They were fated mates. Aria stepped toward him, her eyes filled with hope. Kaelor slowly reached for her hand, and his fingers almost touched hers. For one beautiful second, she believed he had accepted the bond. Then Kaelor pulled away. His face became cold. "I cannot accept a human as my mate," he declared. "The Alpha's throne cannot be shared with someone so weak." The word struck Aria harder than any weapon. Whispers spread through the temple. The noble family smiled, pleased that their Alpha had protected the purity of the royal bloodline. Aria tried to hide her tears, but Kaelor raised his hand and broke the sacred bond before everyone. A painful flash of light passed between them. The silver mark disappeared from Aria's wrist, and she fell to her knees. Kaelor looked away. "Leave the royal moon colony before sunrise," he ordered. Aria stood slowly. Her heart was broken, but she refused to beg for a place beside a man who had rejected her. She turned toward the temple doors. Then the moon core went dark. The ground shook. Cracks of silver light spread across the crystal walls, and an ancient female voice echoed through the sky. "The Alpha has rejected the woman chosen by fate, but the moon has not rejected her." A pillar of silver light surrounded Aria. When it disappeared, a mysterious symbol was glowing over her heart. Kaelor stared at her in shock. For the first time, fear appeared in the Alpha's golden eyes. That night, royal healers discovered something impossible. Aria was carrying a child, but the sacred bond had been broken before it could ever be completed. And when Kaelor heard the news, he understood that the moon goddess had given his rejected mate something far greater than his love. She had made her the mother of his heir, the child the moon chose. Before sunrise, Aria left the royal capital. She did not look back. The silver towers of the Lycan Empire slowly disappeared behind her as she traveled to Aria, a small human settlement hidden near the frozen edge of the moon. The people there had little power, old shelters, and machines that had stopped working many years ago. But Aria refused to live as a broken woman. "The Alpha rejected me," she told herself, placing a hand over her heart. "He did not take away my strength." Months passed. Aria helped the settlers repair damaged energy towers and rebuild homes. She worked beside them every day, even as the child inside her continued to grow. Then strange things began to happen. Whenever Aria touched her stomach, soft silver light spread beneath her fingers. The settlement's dead machines suddenly came back to life. Ancient lamps glowed again. Frozen water systems began moving. Even a forgotten human starship buried beneath the ice opened its doors after centuries of silence. The people began calling the unborn child the moonborn heir. But far away, the royal palace was falling into darkness. The moon core was weakening. Lycan warriors could no longer feel the moon's power. Their strength faded, and the palace energy shields began to fail. Even Kaelor's golden eyes were losing their light. Desperate, the royal elders opened the oldest prophecy. Their faces turned pale as they read. "The heir of the rejected mate will carry the blood of two worlds. He will either unite the human heart with the Alpha soul, or bring the royal throne to its end." Kaelor understood the truth. His rejection had not protected the Empire. It had placed everything in danger. He traveled alone to Aria. When Aria saw him standing outside her small home, her heart trembled, but she refused to show it. Kaelor stepped closer. "I came for you," he said quietly. Aria looked into his fading golden eyes. "No," she replied. "You came for the child." His silence hurt more than an answer. Kaelor lowered his head. "I was wrong," he admitted. "I thought power meant never needing anyone. But since you left, every part of my world has grown darker." For one brief moment, Aria remembered the man who had almost touched her hand beneath the moon core. Then she stepped back. "I will not return because my child is valuable," she said. "If you want a place in our lives, you must first learn to respect the woman you rejected." Before Kaelor could answer, the sky turned black. A fleet of enormous alien warships appeared above Elora. A cold voice echoed across the settlement. "Give us the moonborn child, or this colony will be destroyed." Kaelor activated his royal defenses. But when the enemy ships revealed their ancient weapons, even the Alpha understood one terrifying truth. Those weapons were older than the Lycan Empire itself, the human who refused to surrender. The first enemy blast struck Elora before sunrise. The ground shook, crystal towers collapsed, and red fire spread across the silver sky. Kaelor grabbed Aria's hand. "You and the child must go underground," he ordered. "The royal chamber will protect you." Aria pulled her hand away. "I will not hide while my people are fighting." "This is not a request," Kaelor said. For a moment, the old Alpha returned, the cold ruler who believed his orders could control everything. Aria stepped closer, her eyes burning with anger. "You rejected me because you thought humans were weak," she whispered. "Do not insult me by treating me like someone who must always be saved." Kaelor fell silent. Then another explosion shook the settlement. Aria turned and led the human families into forgotten mining tunnels beneath the moon. She knew every hidden passage because she had helped repair them months earlier. Deep underground, she found an ancient human control station covered in dust. The machines had been silent for centuries. Aria placed her glowing hand over the main console. The child inside her responded. Silver light rushed through the old wires. Across Elora, a powerful energy shield rose from the ground, protecting the settlement from the enemy ships. The Lycan warriors stared in disbelief. The humans had done what the royal army could not. Above the colony, Kaelor fought beside Aria as enemy soldiers broke through the shield. When a plasma weapon fired toward her, Kaelor stepped in front of her. The blast struck his armor. He fell to one knee. Aria ran to him. Then his golden eyes went dark. Without the moon core, his alpha power had finally failed. Aria placed both hands against his chest. The silver mark over her heart began to glow, and warm energy flowed from her into him. Kaelor looked up. "You saved me," he whispered. Aria's eyes filled with tears. "You once believed strength meant standing alone," she said. "But strength also means trusting someone enough to stand beside you." Kaelor lowered his gaze. "I rejected you because I was afraid," he admitted. "I feared that loving you would make me weak. I feared my people would turn against me." Aria looked at him sadly. "Fear may explain your choice, Kaelor, but it does not erase the pain you caused." Before he could answer, a dark energy cage closed around him. The enemy commander had captured the Alpha. A message appeared across the sky. "Give us the moonborn child, or Kaelor dies." The Lycans prepared for war. But Aria walked alone toward the enemy ship. Kaelor struggled inside the cage. "Aria, do not come," he shouted. She gave him a small, mysterious smile. Then, beneath her cloak, she activated an ancient human signal hidden deep inside the moon. Far beyond the stars, forgotten human ships received the message. Seconds later, hundreds of silver starships appeared from deep space. The enemy commander stared in horror. For the first time, the galaxy saw the truth. Humans had never been weak. They had only been waiting. The moon goddess reveals the truth. The human fleet entered the battle before the enemy could destroy Elora. One by one, the ancient warships disappeared into the darkness of space. Kaelor was freed, but there was no celebration. The moon core was dying. Its silver light had become weak, and dark cracks were spreading across the surface of the moon. Without its power, the Lycan Empire would slowly collapse. Aria knew the answers were waiting inside, the Crystal Moon Temple. She returned to the place where Kaelor had rejected her. But this time, she did not enter as a broken human. She entered as the woman chosen by the moon. The temple doors opened by themselves. Inside, the moon core released a soft light and pulled Aria into a vision. She saw an ancient world thousands of years in the past. Humans stood beside Lycans beneath the first silver moon. Human scientists built the moon core using knowledge and technology, while Lycan warriors gave it their powerful lunar energy. Together, they created a source of power strong enough to protect both species. But after many generations, proud Lycan rulers erased humanity from history. They wanted the Empire to believe that only Lycans had created the moon core. The moon goddess appeared before Aria. "I did not choose you only because you were Kaelor's fated mate," she said. "I chose you because humanity was forgotten, and forgotten truth must return." Aria placed a hand over her stomach. The goddess smiled. "Your child carries the human gift to create and the Lycan gift to connect. He was not born to rule through blood. He was chosen to teach two worlds how to stand together again." Suddenly, a dark blast struck the temple. Lady Selene stepped from the shadows. "If humans become equal," she said coldly, "the noble families will lose everything." She raised an ancient weapon and fired at the moon core. Aria moved in front of it, but before the attack could reach her, Kaelor appeared and blocked the blast. For a moment, his eyes burned with alpha power. He could have destroyed Selene. Instead, he activated the temple's memory crystals. Images of Selene's secret crimes appeared across every screen in the Empire. The truth spread to millions. The nobles watched in silence as their lies were exposed. Then Kaelor turned toward Aria. Before the entire Empire, he lowered his head. "I rejected you because I was afraid," he said. "I will spend the rest of my life proving that you deserved better." Aria's heart trembled, but Kaelor did not ask her to forgive him. "The choice is yours," he whispered. "It will always be yours." Then the moon core suddenly exploded with silver light. A powerful wave shook the temple. Aria cried out and placed both hands over her stomach. The child was coming. Outside, the entire moon began to tremble. And from deep beneath the temple, an ancient voice whispered, "The heir is ready. But before he is born, the throne must face its final judgment." The heir who united two worlds. The crystal moon temple trembled as silver light poured from the moon core. Aria held Kaelor's hand as the pain grew stronger. For the first time, the powerful Alpha did not give an order. He did not speak like a king. He simply stayed beside her. "You do not have to be afraid," he whispered. Aria looked into his golden eyes. "I am not afraid," she said. "I am bringing a new future into this world." Moments later, the temple became silent. Then the child was born. A wave of silver and blue energy spread across the moon. The dark cracks in the moon core began to disappear, and every broken light in the lunar empire shone again. Aria held her son close. "We will call him Orion," she whispered. When Orion opened his eyes, everyone gasped. One eye glowed silver like the moon core. The other shone with a warm, human blue light. Above the temple, the moon goddess appeared. "This child is the first heir of a new age," she declared. "He will not inherit the future because an Alpha gave him a throne. He will inherit it because a human mother taught him compassion, courage, and the freedom to choose his own path." The words traveled across the Empire. Days later, Kaelor stood before the Galactic Council. He revealed the hidden truth. Humans had helped create the first moon core. Their knowledge and courage had protected the Empire long before the Lycan nobles erased them from history. Then Kaelor removed every law that treated humans as outsiders. Humans were given equal rights, equal voices, and equal places in the Lunar Empire. The council asked Aria to become queen, but she shook her head. "Love cannot be repaired by one apology or one royal promise," she said. "Trust must be earned." Kaelor accepted her choice. He did not demand forgiveness. Instead, he spent years proving that he had changed. He listened when Aria spoke. He protected her freedom, and slowly, the cold Alpha became a man worthy of her trust. Years later, Orion stood between human and Lycan children at the opening of the first shared academy. Aria watched proudly. Kaelor stood beside her, but did not reach for her hand. Then Aria smiled and placed her hand in his. Above them, the moon shone brighter than ever. The moon goddess whispered. The Alpha rejected his fated mate, but the human he cast away became the reason his people survived. Suddenly, Orion's silver-blue eyes began to glow. A forgotten signal awakened beyond the galaxy. Then a mysterious voice reached him through the stars. Moon-born heir, humanity is waiting for you.